are burning.
Where are you, ma'am?
Please send help.
Where are you, ma'am?
Westgate Resort.
For the first time tonight, we are hearing from the voices on the other end of hundreds of 911 calls. Sevier County dispatchers describe the night of the wildfires as chaotic, heartbreaking, and unforgettable.
It was an all-hands-on-deck kind of situation for those dispatchers. Some spent 16 hours straight handling thousands of calls.
WBIR 10 News reporter Madison Wade sat down with several of them to talk through that night. And Madison joins us now live from Gatlinburg. Madison.
Well, good evening, Robin and John. Yeah, I did sit down with several different dispatchers with Sevier County 911, and they told me that that night shaped the rest of their careers as dispatchers. They tell me that it was heartbreaking. It was a tough night, being the lifeline for so many people in this county. Every 911 call led to a voice inside this room.
Okay, we'll try and get somebody that way.
This is what the Sevier County 911 Central Dispatch Center looked and sounded like the night of November 28th.
Phones were ringing off the hook. It was crazy.
Chaos, calls backing up, emergencies filling the lines.
It was everything we could do to just make sure every call was getting answered and every person was getting some help.
Trisha Fogg was about to leave work when the wave of calls hit.
There was a point where I just threw my hands up and I was like, I was still answering 911, I was still doing my job, but I was like, there's so much.
Every dispatcher was called in, including Cassie Arnn, right here in the black.
Sir, we have fires everywhere. If you feel the need to evacuate, I will go ahead and evacuate, okay?
I was very nervous because I was relatively new. So that was kind of a make it or break it for me as a dispatcher that night.
Cassie is also a volunteer firefighter for Sevier County. But this night, instead of being on the fire line, she was on the phone lines.
If I could have unclipped my mic and gone up and physically helped these people myself, I would have.
But Cassie realized her responsibility was just as important.
And I just tried to help and reassure people that we had people coming, they were trying to get to them.
We were hearing their stories and we were hearing their fear, and we had to take it for them and say, okay, we've got you, we're getting you help, we're coming, somebody's coming.
And now as the calls continue, they'll never forget that night and how it has shaped them today.
911, where's your emergency?
Have that standby.
I did ask them if there is a call that has affected them to this day, and they did tell me that there was one, including a couple who was stuck in an elevator at Westgate Resort. And coming up at 6, we'll talk to another dispatcher who was on that call for a couple hours at a time to the very moment that they rescued them. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
A lot of emotion still there. All right, Madison, thank you for sharing that story with us.
Such poise with those young women.